Praise the Lord, friends. Today I have a very interesting topic for y'all, so please do watch this video. Now, if there is any kind of friendship or relationship, if you want to know whether that friendship or relationship is a real one, how will we come to know? It is when the time of testing comes, when the time of trial comes, and when these two people are together for each other, we know that this relationship was really true, right? And same way happens with our relationship with God. When God brings us to the desert experience, which is there right now in this pandemic, and there is everything like we are cut off from the world, we are cut off from our near and dear ones, and it is a wilderness, friends. And that is the time it is a test of our faith, of our heart, whether our heart is really in loving God or whether our heart has something else. And so today I'm going to share with you something interesting from the Bible. I'm going to talk about Lot's wife from Genesis, but before that I want to tell you about the experience of the Israelites in the wilderness and how we can learn something from them. So now when the Israelites, they were going to the promised land, they were in the wilderness and they also had three temptations, and these temptations were food, temptation of worshipping other gods, and temptation of questioning and testing God. Same thing, these three things were, they were concerned about materialistic things. They were concerned about they started losing patience because Moses was not coming down from the mountain. They started worshipping other, making a calf and worshipping it. And the third thing, where is God? You can see it in Numbers 14 that people start rebelling, that why is he brought us here to die, and we were better off in Egypt, like if we were there it was just good. And these three temptations were given to Jesus also in the New Testament, and all the three temptations Jesus overcame it. Like he said no to the food which Satan wanted him to do a miracle, Satan wanted him to do something else, but Jesus said no, worship the Lord your God alone. And he overcame it. And therefore God is asking us also that in this wilderness we will have certain kind of testing and temptation. As Deuteronomy 8:6 says that remember the long way the Lord your God has brought you, has led you this 40 years in the wilderness, in order to test, in order to humble your heart and to see what is there in your heart, whether you will obey his commandments or not. So everything is to show us that areas of our life which we have not yet surrendered to God. And if we have not yet surrendered to God, we will also, like the Israelites, will question God, will test God. We will also, like the Israelites, start taking refuge in other things other than God. We will also start complaining about the materialistic things which we don't have, and telling God that is why I'm not happy, because you're not giving me this, you're not giving me that. So we can learn a lot. Now about Lot's wife, we know that in Genesis chapter 18 that God had destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Before that destruction, he had sent two angels to rescue Lot's wife and Lot and his family. And the angels rescued them, and then the destruction started happening. And the angels had said, flee from this city, don't stay here, otherwise you will be destroyed. But we know that Lot's wife, she was not able to obey God and let go. When we are not obedient to God, and when we are not able to let go of certain things, we know what happened to her. It's written in the Bible that she looked behind and then she turned into a pillar of salt. That is, she died there and there itself. So there is again a temptation of going back to that same old sins, going back to that same old relationship, going back to that same old memories which probably God has healed us. God has delivered us from many things, but then we don't have anything, any kind of refuge, and there is a tendency of going back. That is what Lot's wife was doing. She had a tendency in her heart to go back to that sinful place, even when she can see that it is being burnt and destroyed, and still her heart is not in the right place. we can learn a lot from Lot's wife. Letting go of our past wounds, letting go of our past mistakes, letting go of our attachment towards sinful things, letting go of all that the Lord has taken out of our lives, because God has a wonderful future for us. God has a bright future for us. God certainly knows what is right for us, and therefore we need to let go. There is a good attitude in us to hold on and to persevere, but that attitude should be when we keep it with our faith. We cannot keep it with other things, because that things can drag us, and literally there was a destruction of Lot's wife. We saw that, and that is what can happen, because the people in Egypt, which were complaining and grumbling, they were not able to go to the promised land because of their complaining and grumbling. Their children were the ones who actually went to the promised land, as God said. So we don't need to, so probably friends, there may be times where God delivered you from a wrong relationship, a relationship which was not right, and there may be a small kind of attraction or attachment to that particular person, and you want to go back to that person for that refuge. But believe me, it is not because you like that person, it is because some disordered affection or feeling is there within your heart, which is driving you. And God really wants you to surrender that area, because He can liberate you. He's telling you that don't feel that you can't be liberated, because we have a mighty God, a God who is going to clean our heart. He's going to prepare us for the promised land, that is eternity. And therefore He is asking you to give that. It is going to be painful. You are going to cry. You are going to have that feeling of, Lord, I'm going to feel lonely if I give up this thing. But it's okay. It's completely okay, because when you surrender that area to God, God will make you a master over that area. He will teach you what you can do instead of that, and how you can spend your attention, all your affections. You can order them properly, and you can use it in a better way. And God trains us through such things. So let go of the past, let go of that area, and don't dig into that area. Don't open the old files which God has already closed. When you open that old files, you may find yourself going back. We cannot loiter around a snake, we cannot play with a snake. The snake will bite us. That is what it meant to not test God. Test God means we are telling, God has delivered me, nothing is going to happen to me if I loiter around sin. It is going to affect me if I loiter around it, and it is for our own good that God gave us His commandments. So this is what I want to share, that in this wilderness, when there is no refuge, we might get tempted to go back to our old ways. Do not lose heart. God is still alive. He's still there. He's working mightily, as He did in the life of all those who were there in the Bible, and all those who trust Him was never been put to shame. He always delivered them. He always gave them the best, though the timing was not what they desired, but it was the perfect time of God. This is what I want to share. If you have liked this video, do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye bye.